Can you just give me your name then, just so I know?
Frances Quinn.
Frances Quinn.
I stayed in Cumberland Street, up the High Backs. And
when did the high backs come down?
they came down, they came down, when did I went to Castlemilk in 1959, so the High Backs would have come down maybe early 60s. They would have come, because my brother, we stayed in Castlemilk. My brother was there for 6 months and then he got married and he moved back to Cumberland Street. He was only, out of his whole life, he was only 6 months not staying in Cumberland Street. He was born there and then he went to Castlemilk and 6 months later he got married and he moved down, he got a room and kitchen in Cumberland Street. That was up the High Backs as well. And then when the renovations went on, he got a masonette, which was still in Cumberland Street. So he was there, it was only 6 months. He died when he was 65, so for only 6 months out of these 65 years, he didn't stay in Cumberland Street. I was born there as well.
Can you give me your name?
I'm Eileen Leishman. I stayed out in the Oatlands, just further along there. But all my pals, mostly when I went to the secondary school, because we all went to St Bonaventures or Adelphi, whatever one it would be. That's when I started getting about with all the ones at my age who went to St Bonaventure. We hung about along here and we hung about the cafe and we used to go round to St Francis Halls. They used to be round in Errol Street. And then the big ones, the older ones at that time, they went to the Hibs dancing, which was across the road, and they would go to all the do's in there and we would listen to all the stuff. But we were young, but we would go on a Friday and Saturday night and they used to wee dances and you thought, no like the day when they were all dolled up and all. It was just wee.
So what were some of the music, can you remember?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because a few of the boys that we hung about with were just obviously about the same age and they were trying to accumulate a wee band, you know, and we thought they were brilliant because they had guitars for their Christmas, and you thought they were smart. It was Elvis songs and that, Heartbeat Hotel and that, and I can't just remember exactly what songs, but they would play them down in St Francis Hall. The jiving was out at the time, so when we would go to the wee dancing, they all jived with each other and then would be slow dances and all that, but we all hung about. That was our kind of wee place off the street, if you like. So that was great, you know. We hung about there and we went about all the clubs and that, and used to go to the swimming. There was a swimming pool down at Gorbel Street and we all went to the swimming down there, so that was excellent. And we all used to go up to Govan Hill to the swimming up there as well. My first job was in Littlewoods Pools. In the days, there was no buses running along here at all. There was a bus that used to come along Rulligan Road, so it was a wee kind of zigzag road. But there was nothing at all when it along Caledonia Road. And I stayed in Oatlands, and the train station used to be on Eglinton Street. You used to go down the back stairs. It's all bricked up now, but you went down the old railway station. So I had to run from there to there. And Mama was always sleeping in. So I was always sweat bursting off me, belting along that Cali Road. Got to be a good runner because I had to get there. If I missed the train, I'd had it.
Yeah. Can you just give me your name first so I know when I'm...
Is it my married name or maiden name?
You can give me both if you like.
Mary McMahon and Mary McPhillips, married name. And I went to school here and I still was here till I was 15. But what happened was when all the buildings was coming down, everybody was going to Castlemilk and Easter House and that. But we went to Pollockshaw's. I always remembered sitting up the stairs in the old tenements and telling stories. You know, like Murder, Polis, 3 stairs up, the woman in the middle door helped me with a cup. You know, things like that. And a Sunday, I always used to get a bar of toffee, a sandwich bar. One side was black and the other side was white. Another thing that was in the Gorbals was the granny, which we called Ma.
Working, it's just, yeah.
You know, it was your granny, but that was a saying, I'm going up to my ma's. That was your granny. And that was a thing, your ma's, which the younger ones now would maybe say your nana or your gran, but it was always your ma. And that was a place that everybody went to on a Saturday. You know, like the sisters. like your aunties and that, all went with their family, all went to your ma's, and there was a big black frying pan on the cooker. You would call it totty scones then, because you wouldn't be proper. Totty scones and maybe French toast. Things like was easy. You know what I mean? Easy. But maybe the young ones nowadays would be, I don't know. But then that's what you were used to. And you used to shout up, "Hey Ma, gonna throw me out a piece?" You know, see when you sit down and you think that it was really happy times. That one, Mama's a millionaire. Blue eye, a millionaire. Blue eyes and curly hair. Sitting amongst the Eskimos, playing a game of dominoes. Mama's a millionaire. That one, Murder, Murder, Police. 3 stairs up. The woman in the middle door, hurt me with a cup. My nose is all bleeding, my nose is all cut. Murder, murder, Police, 3 stairs up. Do you know? I mean, if you had to say that to some of them now, you'd be...
Can you just give me your name?
Jeanette Nichol. This is St Francis Church. Every year it was a prominent thing in the Gorbals. It was a May procession. The children for the school, a May Queen was picked, and maids of honour and page boys. And they paraded round from the church right round the whole of the Gorbals. This is a photograph of him. He was picked as a page boy, and this is 1936.
Can you describe the photograph to me a wee bit?
Well, he's a page boy, and he's got on a white trousers, white shoes, and yellow sash with a yellow satin collar and the frills at the front at the neck.
And we can see him in this photograph, this big group photograph,
This
which is lovely.
This is actually on the altar of St Francis. The children all went back, and the crown, they made the Queen, the big statue of Our Lady, and the May Queen was helped around to the back, and there was usually ladders at the back, and she was up to top. She put the big crown of flowers
She
on
got
top
the
of
ladders.
Yeah, years ago it was a lady used to be called, I'm sure it was Betty McLaren, her name was, and she made all the outfits for the children in the chapel, and all the ones that were picked for the May Queen and the page boys.
So what's the tradition behind it? Do you know the
It was the month of May. It was dedicated to Mary, Our Lady Mary, and that's what it was. And they sung all the songs, Hail Queen of Mary, Hail Queen of Heaven, and that was it to Our Lady. And the children all sung all. There was a lot of lovely hymns at that time, all about Mary and crowning. So that's what I did.
And that's where it kind of came from. So what does it mean, a closing
Well,
mass?
that was the last day. St Francis is a church. It isn't a church now. That's them there,
Right,
houses.
yes, so the building
They
is
build it
still...
into housing, and they've built it into a big centre, a community centre. There's a lot of things goes on
Yeah.
in there. So it's, that was the last mass in the church.
And so how did people feel about that? Was that...
A lot of people were very sad, and a lot of people were very angry because they didn't want that church to close.
Can I imagine, yeah.
And it is a big part of the Gorbals, it always was, St Francis, and they didn't want, a lot of people fought for a good few years to get against it closing, but eventually it did close. Because it says it was too much money to keep it up, I think, you know, the maintenance, because it was such a big church. So everywhere moved down to, it used to be St Luke's, but it's called John Dunn Scotus now.
Right, where's
So
that? Is that...
That's off Ballater Street, right
Right,
at the corner of Ballater
so that's...
Street.
That's
Where
everybody goes
church,
now.
That's the only church that's there now. So everybody
That's sad,
goes
isn't it? Because it's
Yeah.
such an amazing building. And
Yeah, it's still beautiful inside. Have you been in it? But it's not a church now. But it is helping the community, because there is a lot of things going on. For
and
the
they're trying
children.
to bring, things back.